Hello guys, welcome to Tech with Amrut. So in our previous lecture we have already discussed about async code and how we can, what all different ways we have in that, like async, and what is the better way we can go with, and async wait also we have discussed in our last lecture, and parallel execution and sequential execution. If we want a sequential execution, how we can use that same async and wait. So we can use a await, so that will execute sequentially, and if we want a parallel execution, then we can use the promise.all and await, and inside that we can write a functions so that will execute parallelly. And we also see one of a real-time example where we can see the flaky APIs, and that how we can run that multiple times if it is getting failed. So that also we have tried. And today's concept is regarding the export and import. So these are basically like how we can create a functions, export functions, and we can import it in another class. So that we are going to see. So this will help basically like whenever we want to import some functions or like some class, so that import will be we'll use. And also we will discuss like the initial part of the oops also. Okay, so let me take one example. So this is one of example how we are going to import the class. So I have created the test utils. I have created a test utils, and this is our test utils where I am just exporting the let base URL. So this is a base URL I am using, and this is a function which I want to export. Okay, so export function. So we have a format uppercase string, so that function we have, and that is written in that name, whatever name we are passing to uppercase, and we have one more like variable f name Amrut. And if I want to export all these things, and for this one I have not mentioned the export. Okay, for this below one I have not mentioned it as export, but apart from that other one I have mentioned it as export. So if you want to import, so you can import with curly braces you can use, and from, and you can use this dot slash. Dot slash basically will tell you that where the functions present and which we are going to import. So dot slash test utils. So this dot slash will basically point to this particular module, so which is this file. So chapter 19 import export is there. That file, that module, it will check inside this module whatever the classes we have, so that it will show. So as I told, like when I will write dot and slash, so we will get these many classes which has the exported files, and this test utils I am using. So I have used the test utils, and if you want to access that one, so you can mention console.log, and you can mention base URL, and this is our function which we want to use. So we have imported that function as well, format uppercase string, so which is inside the dot test utils, and you can directly access that one. So like same way how we are importing the files of Java or any extent reports or logger files, if you want to import any files, any class, then we will use the same method in the Java also, but here we are mentioning inside the curly braces. So inside that we are writing particular function or any method or any variable which you want to access from the exported files. So that we are going to access by creating a import. Okay, and once you will get this result, so you can directly, so it is telling that cannot find this Java module dot test utils dot js. Yeah. So you need to mention js also. So if you are not mentioning a js, then it will throw the error. Okay, So once you will mention the JS, it is telling return same. Same is not defined. Same we don't have. Okay, same is not defined in this one. We don't have a same here. Yes, name is there. Okay, yes, name. So just make sure like whatever you have mentioned here, so that is proper, then only you will get the proper imported one. So if you print now, you will get the base URL you are getting and whatever name you are passing it inside this format. So if you click on that over and click on this, so if you over and click on this, you will come to this class, export class. Okay, so that is how we are importing and exporting that one. So one class you need to export that one, and another class you will get the import, and from which class you want to import, that you are writing it here, and make sure you are writing the .js, then only it will get properly imported. Okay, and if I can show you one more example of logger. So this is logger, basically like most of the peoples are using this one, and default. So if you are just mentioning a logs or logger or log one, so then by default one it will come here. So let me just show you that one. So we have this function. Okay, if I want to import log 1 from dot logger js. Okay, and if you are uncommenting this one or write to imports. Okay, and you have log 1 also, better also, and inside logger you have written default console.log and export function log better. So this is a better way of log better way, and this is default way. And if you come here to this class where you are importing, and we have written a log 1 starting the log and log better starting the log better, and if you now print this one, you will get the starting the log and starting the log better. So you will get those whatever import we have done for this exported class, so that you will get. Default export is a export one main thing. Okay, if you are not exporting other things, then default will get exported. And logger is a file which will help you to write the logs and capturing the warning, errors, debugging information, and also like many more things you can do it with that. Okay, so here logger is a file which will help you into write the capture events and documents. It will help you to capture the overall debugging purpose also, and it can give you a warning, error message, information, other things, so what we have discussed. And default export is a one of the main thing, like if nothing is getting imported, like that default will get imported, that also we have seen. And name versus default export. So whatever the name export we are doing, and difference between name export and default export, here we can inside name import we can do name export, we can do the unlimited functions export we can do, but here only one we can do. And import syntax will be here, it will be like flower bracket, we are mentioning curly braces, and inside that we are mentioning that name of the export. And here we can directly export without mentioning inside the curly braces. And use case will be utilities and constants and helpers. For that we are mentioning with a named export. For default export is like main class or function of a file, so that we are going to use. And if you want to rename this one, so whatever function you have named, so if you want to rename that one, for that we will see one more example. So like we have mentioned a logger, so this is our logger file. So these are the log 1 and log 2 we have. Okay, this is a default one, log 1 is default and log 2 is a better approach. Okay, so if I want to rename that with a alias name, so if I want to rename with a alias name, then we can use a bracket curly braces as better approach, better way of logging. So like this also we can use. Okay, this is also another way. So you can use this one and you can export it, you can import it. So you can give a different name for this, as is like a, in SQL you have seen like we are using the alias names. So same like that way we are writing it here also, log better, for that alias name is this one, and that we can use for the importing, and for importing, and that function instead of log better we can give the name of this as a better way of logging. And if I print now, better way is not defined. Why? One second. This is a okay, for functions will not do. So if we have the let log is equal to Amrut, if I'm mentioning, and if I'm exporting this one, and if I try to import for this one, okay, we can also write like this. So we have a, this is a function, so I have a variable also, that is log as logger name. Okay, so I can write like console dot log of logger name, like this also we can use. And here also I need to save this one. So if I now, so if we have the multiple functions like so this is one variable comma, this is our function, and if I want to print this one now, better way I have not written, right? Okay, so this is log better I need to mention. And now if I am printing this one, so you can see that, so I have used, instead of log I have mentioned it as logger name, so that I have used alias name, and that alias name I am printing it. So whatever name it is there inside this one Amrut, so that is getting printed. So this is how we can use this import and export basically. And now we are going to discuss about one more concept, that is about a class and object. So basically like JavaScript, whatever the object we are writing, so we are writing in a this way. Okay, so we are writing constant user, and that object we are writing it directly here like this. But what we are going to write in a TypeScript, that is a, so that whatever the object concept and oops concept we are maintaining, so that is different in case of a TypeScript, where we are mainly like giving a proper like proper instruction to create the objects and all. So object will be having the, object is a blueprint, and class whatever we are going to create. So in export and import also, so if we have a multiple things, multiple export, if I want to export the multiple functions, so we can't write each and every functions and variables at export multiple times. If we have a thousands of export, so we will not write thousand of function with export. No, we will not write like that. So for that we have a better approach. So we will create a class, export class. We will create a export class we will create. So in that we are going to write the all the functions and constructors, all those things we will write. So this is a better approach of writing that all the functions inside one export class, and that we are going to directly export. So we can also use the export when we are exporting, right? So we can also use the star also we can use. So like in this way, so we can use the star also we can use, or it is not. So instead of this we can use a star. So that will show like I will show you like how we can use the star and all. So that is another approach we can use. So for that we need to have a proper like setup, then only we can use this star. So that we will discuss. But now like classes and all, if we have a multiple export, then we can use the export class we can have, and that only one export we can do instead of writing exporting each and every functions and all. If you have multiple export, that all the functions we are going to use, so then we will use the export. But star, guys, star we will not use, because that when we use star means, so we are exporting all the functions and all the functions. So if I have a multiple functions in this class, like one and a format, this is a format name of 2, and this is 3. So if we want to export only format test name, then if we are mentioning it as start, right, so that will export import all these functions. So this is basically like wastage of memory. So that whatever the memory we are using because of this star, when we are using the multiple functions import, then memory will be more, it will be used more. So this will be a bad lintent practice. Lintent is basically like, if that is a that will show the best practice of using that one, using a code. And if we are making a wrong or mistakes in the codes and all, so that lintent will be shown. Okay, so that will show the bad practice or good practice, and all those things it will be showed by the lintent. Okay, so that is the one thing. And exporting the class we will see. Before that we'll just understand the what is the class and what is object and all. So class will be having the attributes and behavior. Like a person will be having a attributes, like if we are building this one, so this is a blueprint. So by looking into this one, we will build the actual object. By looking into this one, we will build the actual object. Means this object, this will be design will be a blueprint. So similar way, object is a blueprint to create an object, uh, class will be blueprint to create an object basically. Okay, so this is a blueprint to create an object. So person is a class, so that will consist of attributes and functionality or behavior. Attributes is like a name, age, gender, occupation, where he will be occupied and all. And functionality or behavior is like how he will walk, how he will eat, what time he will sleep, and how he will sleep, and work, what kind of work he is doing, and all those things. And we will have the objects also. Objects, like basically this is our object generic thing. So how it will look basically: dogs, breed, size, color, and all. So we will create an actual object out of this blueprint, that is breed, what breed it will be, and size is a large, and age is 5 year, color is black. Like that we have a breed of Malteses. Okay, and that is the size is small and age is 2 years and color is white, and this is a breed of chow chow and the size is medium. Like that we will create the objects out of the blueprint. Okay, object is an instance of a class. All the data member and members functions of class can be accessed with the help of objects. Objects are allocated memory space whenever they are created. Class is a blueprint that contains the attributes and behavior. Object is a real entity instance of class. So try to understand, guys. So this is a person. Okay, person has some age, name, age, gender, occupation. This is a blueprint. So whatever we are seeing here, that is a blueprint of a person which has a attributes and functionality, and with this one we are creating a real object, real person. That is a name is Amrut, age is 26, gender is male, occupation Karnataka, and walk, he will eat, he will sleep, work. Like that we will create a actual object from the attributes by using the attributes and property. Okay, that is how we will create a that is a difference between like class and objects. Objects basically a real entity or instance of a class, but class is a blueprint which contains the attributes and behavior. So this is about today's session, guys. Like we will discuss the more on this class and object in our upcoming lecture. So now onwards we are moving from the JavaScript to TypeScript, guys. JavaScript will not have the restriction, guys. JavaScript will not have a restriction. Now if you are giving some restriction and if you are maintaining with a what type of data type or what type of objects you are creating and all, so that basically restriction we are giving in the TypeScript. Okay, so that we will see in our upcoming lecture. So now we will see some of a DSA question, like some of a problematic questions how to solve by using a JavaScript. So first question will be check whether the number is even or odd. How we will see the number is even or odd, guys? Let num is equal to 5 I am considering, and if that number, whatever the number, if we divide with a 2 and that whatever the quotient we will get that one, if it is equal to 0 after dividing, if it is a 0, then we will consider it as a even, and if it is not equal to 0, then we will consider it as a odd. And how we can find the largest of three numbers? So how we will get to know like which is the largest from three numbers? So we will consider let a is equal to 1 and let b is equal to 2, let 3 is equal to c is equal to 3, and we have 3 variables, and from that I need to identify which is the largest one. I will consider if a is greater than b and a is greater than c, then I will consider that console.log a is largest. Okay, I will consider a is largest. In similar fashion, I will check if b is greater than a and b is greater than c, then I will consider b is the largest. Else, if these two cases will be fail, then I will check for the next condition, that is c will be greater I will consider it as a C will be the largest. So this is the second problem. Let me just run it. First one will be odd. 5 is odd. Let me change it to even, and if I give it as 5, why it is giving the C? Okay, so this will be else if actually. Okay, I am by mistakenly written as a if again, so that is why it was throwing giving the C is the largest. So now I have given like if, else if, and else. So now it will give the A is the largest. Okay, so now we will see the one more example, that is reversing a string. So let string is equal to Amrut and check if it is a palindrome or not. Okay, so I'll take a for loop. Let I is equal to str dot length, and I should be greater than or equal to, I should always be less than 0, and I minus minus. Now I will take one more variable, that is reverse, and here reverse is equal to reverse plus str dot at of I, and after that I will check if reverse is equal to string, then I will make it as console.log as palindrome, else not palindrome. Okay, so let me see this one also. So str is not a palindrome, and if I use a mom, then it will show that is a, it is not palindrome. Okay, I should be always greater than 0. So this is a mistake I have done. I should be greater than, so that is why it is not going inside a loop. Okay, so undefined, because here we need to do the, it will go till 1 equal to 0 and minus 1 I need to do. Okay, so because, so it is going till the length, you will be minus 1, minus 1, 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Okay, so that is why we need to, it should be always, length will be 1, 2, 3. Length is considered as 3, so 3 minus 1, 2, 0, 1, 2 it will be. So at that character it will take that 2, it will be here 1 and 0. So until 0 it will go and it will print, and it is a, if it is a palindrome, then it will be string is a palindrome. Okay, so this is a reversing a string and check the string is a palindrome or not. So that we have seen, and we'll check how we'll identify the factorial of a number. So if our number, so if our number is 1, num is 1, so let me take it as 2, so small one, and from 2 I need to go how we will consider as a factorial? Factorial of 2 will be 2 into 1, like that. And if I have 3 into 2 into 1, so like that we will go for a 4 also, 4 into, and like that 5 into. So this is how we'll figure out the factorial. So for that I need to use let I is equal to number, and I should be always greater than or equal to greater than 0. Okay, and I minus minus will do. Here factorial will be let factorial is equal to 1 and fact is equal to fact into I. Finally we'll print the console.log of this factorial. So if I print now, for 2 fact is not defined. Okay, fact is 2. What if I mention 3? Then it will be 6. If I mention 5, it will be 120. Okay, so this is how we can going to find the factorial of the number. And if I want to print the Fibonacci series, so then we will consider let first will be, so how it will be Fibonacci series, how we are printing the Fibonacci series, 1 1 by adding these 2 by adding 3, this is 5, and 3 and 5 is 8, 5 and 8 will be 13. So like this we will continue. Okay, so now if I want first will be 1, second is also 1. Okay, and now if I want to check the result also, result I want, so result I am making it as 0 now. Okay, how it will start? From 1 it will start. So let I is equal to, I'll start from here 2. Okay, I should be always greater than or equal to 0. So I will mention one more thing here, let term, I will mention term here, how many terms I want. If I want a 5 or 6 terms, so I should be always less than or equal to term and I plus plus. Now each time when we are printing this one, right, so I need to calculate the result is equal to result plus first. Okay, then my first will become here some space, first will be become second, second will become the result. Okay, and post that once I will add this result each and every time, not result, let next will become first plus second, so this will be second will become next now. Okay, after adding, second will become next. So in this way, if I finally print the result, I can print the finally the result one. Okay, let me print this one. So, okay, console.log. My bad. So we will see that like I have mentioned it as 6, so it should be, it will start from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it will be, I should be less than this term. So now that it will start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 it has printed till here, and if I mention it as 10 now, if I print this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, until 9 it will go and print that one. Okay, so we will get like this only, 13, 21 and 34 by adding these two, and again next term will come. So that is how we will print the Fibonacci series. Okay, and now if I want to check the whether the number is prime or not, so what is the condition for if I want to identify number is prime or not? For that we will use let number whatever number, if I have a 2, this is prime number. Why? This will be divided by only 1 and 2. And if I consider 3 is also prime number. 4 is not a prime number. I will consider 4. Okay, and let decide that is prime, if it is a prime or not. First we will consider it as true only. Okay, and if number divisible by number is less than or equal to 1, number is less than or equal to 1, then we will directly consider it as a prime only, because number 1 will be divisible by 1 only, not other things. So then we will make it as is prime is equal to true only. We will make it as is prime is true only, and else if it is not less than or equal to 1, then I will mention from here, I will write a for loop inside a else condition from let I is equal to I will start from 1, and I should be always less than number. I'll make it as number 1 because I already have used a num above, and I plus plus we will do each time, and here we will check if I not 1, I will write from 2. Okay, because 1 always will divide. Okay, I will use 2 from 2 if it is dividing. So if number 1 is divisible and we are getting the zero, okay, if we are getting a 0, then I will consider this is prime is false. Okay, is prime is false, and I will break it here only, because once it is getting divisible by any of the other numbers which is less than that number, then I will make it as false. And if now if this is not, if this is true or false, based on that I will print console.log this number 1 is prime if it is true. Okay, if it is not true, then it will be a false, else if it is false, then is not, number is not prime. Okay, so like this I can do, I can figure out whether it is a prime or not. Console, okay, 4 is not a prime, and if I mention it as 3, it should be prime, is a prime. Okay, so this is how we can figure out whether the number is prime or not. And now we have a count count the vowels in a string. So I will consider, let string 2 is equal to my name, I will consider RUT. So in this we have a also a vowel and U is also a vowel. Let I will consider is vowel, otherwise I will iterate with all of this one. For let I is equal to 0 and I should be always less than string 2 dot length, and I plus plus if str2 dot at I equal to a. So before that I will make it as str2 is equal to str2 dot to lowercase. I will make it as a lowercase, okay, because before that I will just convert it to lowercase. And str dot at I, if it is a, if it is equal to a, or e I o u, I o u, okay, if any one of this, then we will consider, I will increase the count. Let count is equal to, first it will be 0, then once we will get the count I will make it as count plus plus, and once this is done I will check the count. Console dot log of count. Let me see now. So we have a 2 count because in that Amrut we have a 2 vowels, and if I give one more O here, Amrut O, so I will get a 3 vowels like that. Okay, so this is a way to figure out how many vowels present in a given string. And now if I want to find the largest number in the array, so that let array is equal to, I have an array of 1 2 3, largest number in the array. So this is my array. Now I will iterate with each and every elements. So before that I will consider largest will be 0 first, and I will iterate. Let I is equal to 0, I should be less than array dot length and I plus plus. If largest is less than array of I, then I will make largest is equal to array of I. If it is largest, then I will make it as largest only. And finally I will print the console.log largest number is largest. So if I print now, so largest number will be 9. because what I am doing, I am iterating with all of the numbers, and from that, if it is a largest is less than the array of I, then I will make that number as a largest. So in that way I have iterating, and I am checking if that is the largest, then making it as largest. So I will get a final as a largest number will be 9. And if I need to remove the duplicate value from the array, so I have a 5 I have taken, I want to remove the duplicate and I want to print only the single array, then let is duplicate I am considering false, let is duplicate, I will consider this one as a only the array do remove duplicates. Okay, and I will iterate with all of the numbers here first. Each and every number I will iterate. Zero, and I should be less than array dot length I plus plus I will do, and another for loop I will consider for let j is equal to 0, j is less than array dot length j plus plus I will do. Now I will consider that if this is our duplicate one and this is our actual array, so if this array if this remove duplicate of I is equal to array of I, so whatever the first index and second index, if it is equal to that one, then I will make it as let is duplicate is equal to false. First I will consider it as false, and from any one of this one, if it is equal to then one, then I will make it as true. I will make it as true, and here is duplicate I will make it as false. So if it is equal to that one, so what we will make it here, so I will consider this one here only. So let if it is a for each and every I value, I will check for all the cases inside the j, and if it is a true, then I will make it as false. Duplicate is false, true. I will make it as true. This is false. Okay, I will make that is duplicate is true. Okay, then I will break it here. So if any one of this is containing that value, then I will break. Now what I will do, if it is a is duplicate is, if this is duplicate is false, means we are making it as reverse, then true, then I will make it as duplicate, remove duplicate of I is equal to array of I. I'll store that value, and finally once this all the things is done, I will print the value console.log of this one. Remove duplicates, and print it. One empty item. Why it is throwing that one empty item? So we can make it as like remove duplicates of this one. If instead of this I can make it as push, I can use. So I'll you make use of push at particular that element instead of particular element. If we are doing like that, so it will make sure like it is giving the empty space also. So now I have done the push instead of at that specific element I am storing some value. So instead of that I have do the and done the push, so that in that way it has removed that one and added the all the other ways, other elements. So if I now also, like if I am considering the 8 8 2 1 3 4, okay, so if I run this one now, it will remove all those duplicate values and it will print non-duplicate values. Okay, these are the problems which I was I want to solve, because now onwards we are using the TypeScript. We'll solve the problems in TypeScript and all. So these are the some set of problems which are very much important during the interviews. So try to practice much on this JavaScript, so you will get a better understanding in the TypeScript also. If you if you are good enough and if you have the good enough knowledge on the JavaScript, you will easily understand the TypeScript. So if you are not understood the JavaScript, then it will be difficult to understand the TypeScript. For that reason I am making you to solve the as much as problem you can solve for the JavaScript. Okay, so in next upcoming lecture we'll see about a more about class and object in a JavaScript, TypeScript, and what all oops concept we have, like inheritance, and we are having the hiding the property and restricting the access, and also we will see the like polymorphism concept. So these all the things we'll see in our upcoming lecture. So till then, see you guys and keep learning. Bye bye.